In this video, we'll discuss how to set up isometric and 3D views. For this project, you'll be creating a typical office presentation. So often in commercial interiors, if there's several offices that you're presenting to your client and they're all the same style, you will present a 3D view, of course, the overall floor plan, and possibly you may create a 3D rendering as well with the typical office finishes included. So to create an isometric view of one of these offices, we'll first start by going to View and 3D View. And we're just going to click on the standard 3D view, and that will automatically put it in isometric mode. I'm then going to turn off the column identification markers. So I'm going to click on those and do right-click, hide in view. Now, in order for the section isometric box to come up, we need to go into Properties under the 3D view and click Section Box. And then the section box will appear. The section box will allow you to create a slice of a 3D view or create a cutaway of a certain area of your design. So we need to create that cutaway area around an office area, one of the private offices. So I'm going to select the section box. If you select it twice, then you'll get the arrows that allow you to control the size of the section box. So I'm going to move it around that office area. This one right here. And then you can zoom in to the office area. And we're actually want to show a section cut with some of the the front wall removed and then also the east wall removed. So I'm going to move my section line. I'm also going to cut below the ceiling line so that I can see into the office. The point of this is so that your client can see a 3D view of the office clearly. I'm going to bring this up to the floor level. And then I'll also bring this to the other side of the wall. And I'll bring this back area into the other side of the curtain wall. So then you would bring this drawing into your title block. But there's a few other things that I want to show you. If you wanted to create another 3D view or another isometric view of a space, you could very easily just come and copy the 3D view that you just created. Now, I would rename that to something like typical office isometric view, but then you could make a copy of that. So you could say duplicate view, duplicate with detailing, and then you could then edit that copy. Like, let's say that you wanted to show an isometric view of the conference room. So then you can bring back everything that you took away to show an isometric view of another area of your design. So let's get down to the conference room area here. So then you could just edit that and then rename that copy to conference room area. So creating the section box doesn't necessarily remove the item from the 3D view. It's just you need to edit that section box and to include the new area that you want to show. So let's discuss the view cube here as a way to move around and see different parts of your design. So I'm going to undo so that we can get back to that office area, typical office area section view. So you can move the directions here. You can move this blue circle, and that will allow you to rotate your view. When you want to get back to the true isometric view, you would just hit the home button there. You can also click on corners of the box here or the view cube here. So you can click on that corner and it can give you a different view of the space. Now, this doesn't make much sense for the view that we're looking at right now, but it can be helpful if you're trying to get a view of the other side of the room. And then again, just go back to the home button in order to get back to that true isometric view. So now we'll work on 3D views, and they would still all be grouped under the 3D view category in the project browser. It's really important that you name all of your 3D views so that you can easily gain access to them, and they're not automatically, they're going to be standard 3D view 1, 2, 3, 4. If you name them, it will make your drawing process much quicker. So to add the 3D view, we've done this before. We're going to go to camera or 3D view in camera. And I'm going to add a camera right in the entrance. Make sure you're in front of this curtain wall. If you place it out here, it's going to be blocked by the door. So we'll go into the interior here. And I usually stretch it out to the exterior. So here's the interior view. Now, what will happen a lot of times when you have very tight spaces, like an individual office, is that you're zoomed in so close and you can't really see all of the room. So I'll show you how to make those adjustments. So the first thing that we can do is expand our crop area. So I'm going to select that. I just click twice, and you can then control how big the rendering is. So I can come all the way over here if I want. I can also bring my rendering down. I can also show more ceiling if I want to. Another tool that you can use is underneath the full navigation wheel, and this is kind of hard to find. So I'm going to click on that wheel, and then I'm going to right click on orbit. And there's several options here, but the main one that we're going to use is increase, decrease focal length. So I'm going to click on this. This is very similar to field of view in SketchUp if you use SketchUp. And then watch what happens when I stretch that out. Now it looks a little bit out of proportion. So once I'm done with that, you can hit escape. And then you can, of course, use crop to bring in the other part of this office area. Now I don't want to show the front curtain wall. I just want to show a good view of the office space. So there's different ways that you can adjust it to make it look, more in proportion. Just kind of use your best judgment on that. But that's one tool that's hidden that you may not be able to find. So how I got to that again is I clicked on the full navigation wheel, and then I did a right click on orbit, and then go to increase, decrease focal length. So I may want to zoom in a little bit. So now I'm going to show you an issue that can sometimes happen when you have a rendering that you're trying to show areas behind the main rendering. So let's say that we were trying to show this lobby area here, but we also want to see what it looks like down the hallway. So to add that 3D view, we're going to go to 3D view and camera. I'm going to add the camera, and then I'm just going to click within the space here. Now notice what happened in this 3D view. We can't see into that break room area, which if we were really looking down the hallway here, we would see into the break room area. We would even see the exterior windows and more of the open office area. So there's one button that we need to check within our 3D view in order to remove the far clip. So we need to come down to Extents and hit Far Clip Active. And what the far clip is this area right here. So what that's going to do is it's not going to end the rendering right here. It's going to take it all the way to the final endpoint there. So we'll go back on 3D view and click Far Clip Active, and then hit apply. And now you see that we can see into that break room area. And of course, if we wanted to adjust our rendering, we can just use the crop option here to expand the view of our rendering. So that ends this video on setting up 3D views and isometric views.